Reseller Clickbait Podcast, episode 86.
Morning, Ken.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Hey, do you have your Groundhog Day decorations taken down yet?
It was yeah. Yep, I took those down.
It's Groundhog Day earlier in the week, and at least around here, Buckeye Chuck did.
First time in history, I don't think I've ever remember him not seeing his shadow. It's the first year.
And he did not see his shadow. Buckeye Chuck, here in my area, Buckeye Chuck's just like right around the corner from my house. The official groundhog of Ohio is like 2 miles away from my house. And I never go over to the festivities. I did last year. I wanted to go again this year. Last year I did like an Instagram live from there. But man, it's early.
It doesn't surprise me at all. Ken, you're always looking for a reason to celebrate, aren't you?
I am, for sure.
You're a very festive fellow.
I got that. Well, I still have, that's one of my projects today is I still have like Christmas stuff out here at my house. And so today it's actually nice outside. I don't have a Ken complains about winter this week because I didn't have anything to complain about. It was actually a pretty decent week.
We had some kids coming out for, well, we had our kids, not just some kids. We had our kids coming out for supper this past week. And we knew they were coming, so we hurried up and got the last of our outside decorations taken down.
Christmas decorations down?
Okay. We knew if we didn't get them down before they came out for supper, they'd shame us about still having them up. So we got those down. Yeah, we're completely Christmas free now.
I will be today. Like I say, it's mostly just like all the tubs and stuff. I don't really have like the tree up and all of those sorts of things around. It's just like it's all taken down. It just needs to be kind of put away for the season. But
ours was just a few lights and a little bit of ribbon out on the porch. So it's good to see it gone.
Yes. Happy belated Groundhog Day. What? Oh, so he did see a shadow. So that means it's 6 more weeks. It's less winter. So it's only a month and a half left rather than 6 weeks.
Right.
So, which sounds better. A month and a half is like, it's like two things, like a month and a half. We're like,
yeah, it is. It's both of those.
6 weeks is like
together.
6 things. It's like 6 things rather than 2 things. So, I'm looking forward to it.
It sounds shorter.
It does, doesn't it? I'm waiting for that springtime to come. Oh, I'm waiting for springtime to come in fall. I'm not a spring fan either. I'm just like straight summer, like across the board. I just want it to be warm all the time.
This year is weird. I'm not rooting, like spring's my favorite time of the year. I like spring because you can finally get outside and do some stuff, but
yeah,
I'm not in a hurry for it because I know that means we're going to hit sourcing heavy again and we're not ready. We're not there yet.
Oh, you're not? Okay. You're not. I was going to say that's usually what everybody's looking forward to is getting out and doing the sourcing.
We still have more than enough death pile we got to get through and we're getting through it pretty good. I mean, we're listing a lot, but we're not ready for spring.
Yeah, I'm ready for spring just for the weather. My death pile is not ready for stuff. However, I did start to think I haven't really taken advantage of my local bins that had opened up just this last year, and I'm thinking I just need, although I have that inventory in my death pile, it just doesn't excite me right now. And so I think I need to go like kind of maybe hit the bins. Although I have been finding cool stuff in my pile. It's like, oh, I forgot I bought this thing. And you list it and it sells in a couple days. It's like, man, I could have had that, $20, $30, $100 already. And
see, I think there's two different kinds of, I think there's a lot of different reseller personalities out there, but like Teresa is way more of a treasure hunter picker personality than I am. I'm way more like business entrepreneur type personality. I want to see how we could grow the business. She wants to find the next cool thing and get it listed. So we have 2 completely separate business goals. They just happen to work together, but I'm not excited about going picking that much. I'm way more excited about what we could do to grow the business this year. Yeah.
And that's like, I guess that's something that we're going to talk about here coming up in the show. That actually was a good segue to a topic that we're going to talk about. But
accidental. How do you like that?
It was. It was an accidental segues. How about that? But right here at the beginning, I want to throw out a couple of resellery community sort of things. Big shout out to Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast. They had a live this week where our good friend Chris, the old school picker, has announced his what do you want to say? His partial retirement, I guess. Yeah, you would say from video content. Still doing the reselling, but he kind of sat down and prioritized. He prioritized the things that were important to him and the things that he needed to accomplish in life, and that YouTube content creation kind of came a little farther down the list. And so, shout out to Chris, and just looking forward to what Caleb is going to do going forward, because he is going to keep the Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast going.
Well, the highlight of that live was Ken actually conceded the race to 1,000 to the Two Old Guys right before Chris retired.
Yeah, I'm going to retract that. I retract my previous statements, although they're only like 40 away or something from hitting that 1,000 mark, and we're still like 440 away.
I did second the motion. I can take defeat when you see it. It is pretty plain. They beat us there for sure. So
we have a shot.
I'm happy to be defeated by those two.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that was fun. We kind of pushed that a little bit to see what we could do. And at the time we were slightly behind, but they're way up there. So
yeah, we're slightly more behind.
I wish no ill will towards my buddy Caleb. But maybe we could get 300 and some subs if everybody that watched this episode today, started like
created
one of those,
6 accounts.
A burner account, and then they sub to the show, and then got their grandma or their mom or somebody like that to sub to the show. Of course, that wouldn't be very, very good, because grandma's probably not going to watch us every week. We don't need those dead views. They might.
That's kind of our demographic, isn't it?
Pretty much. Old ladies love me for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I'm an old guy. That could be part of it. But anyway.
Well, I think we both got that covered.
So
we could. I'll tell you what. We could just start giving away Tupperware every week. I'll bring a new piece of Tupperware to give away.
Yeah, because you have plenty of that. I saw that in one of your recent videos that you guys listed tons of Tupperware. But shout out to Chris, old school picker, my friend.
Gonna miss you, Chris.
Yes, for sure. And he'll be around. He said he'd be around, but we should have made like a little video montage right here and played like that.
Should have prepared
Sarah
a song
McLachlan song or something, in the arms of an angel. We'll get some Chris montage. But
he doesn't get that yet. He's not dead. He's just taking a break from YouTube. He's still a reseller, and he's still in the community. As far as I'm concerned, he's still here. We're just not going to get his videos for a while. So exactly. I'm still hopeful he's coming back.
Yeah. Oh, he'll be back around. He'll get that stuff going, and you kind of get that itch when you get out into the aforementioned thrifting or sourcing season. Get out there in the community.
Putting out the amount of content he put out for what, 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
And then just stop picking up the camera one day.
Yeah.
Like eventually that itch, I think, is going to catch him where he's like, I just want to go out and record something. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to see what that is, because I'd be excited to watch it, whatever it is.
Which that would be a lot. That would be pretty freeing, though, because I know when I go out to the sales, I pretty much, even though I don't put out a lot of pre-recorded content, and by a lot, I mean any pre-recorded content, or I haven't for a while, I still record at almost every sale when I'm out.
We stopped.
And it is a little bit freeing on those times when you don't take the camera and you're not recording, because you're not conscious of that. You're paying more attention to those items that you're trying to pick up, and
we kind of stopped recording our yard sale stuff. We have a whole hard drive full of it that we're not going to use already. Well, so we just stopped recording it.
Is that so that you don't have to issue formal apologies to your viewers anymore?
Yeah. Oh, yep. We disappoint more than enough people with our somewhat okay content. We're going to stay away from picking.
One of the recent videos on your channel over at Grams and Pops was your apology video for your sourcing video.
Our sourcing videos are not up to par with what people are used to, apparently. Well, not apparently. It's obvious. They're not up to par, so it's just not our thing.
Yeah. I want to do some different content. I'm just not sure. I want to do some pre-record. Of course, I do the 10 versus 10 stuff, and that's just a goofy thing I do, each week as a live. But anyway,
we thought about taking some more raw type footage from our picking, just the pieces where we're finding stuff, and maybe drop it in just for our community, like behind unpublished, just into our Patreon or something. So we have somewhere to use it and we can make use of it a little bit. And I do think there's some interesting stuff in there. It's just, we're not great at editing it. So maybe we'll just drop it in raw.
There you go. And then, if you quit filming altogether or come up with a new strategy for that filming, like you say, that's one of the things. Whenever, just
do it better.
Just be a better content creator. That's what I always notice. I have several like half completed videos or almost even completed videos that I watch them. It's like, well, I'm bored watching this. And maybe it's in that editing process. You've seen it so many times and you're doing the cuts and it's like, oh, I wished I would have done this while I was recording. And, at the say, oh, I had a perfect opportunity to say this or to show this. And anyway, but that's,
I still wonder why anybody watches our stuff. Every time I edit one of our videos, I'm like, I don't know why anybody watches this, but we try to make them better every time.
Every Wednesday and Sunday, I think.
Every Wednesday, when you watch my stuff, you're saying the same thing.
I could be doing something better with my life, and
you could be, and probably should be.
So anyway, that was, and then also another, just a shout out to a friend, Shane, over there at Grandpa City Flips, or maybe he'll
Grandpa Soda.
Grandpa Soda. He is going to be
Soda
a
Pops.
Grandpa Soda. Ooh.
There you go. Soda Pops.
There you go. Maybe you can get some royalties from that if he goes with that.
I might be able to.
Soda Pops. Man, I love that. I wish I would have thought of that. That was good, Corey.
Well, thank you.
He's going to be a grandpa.
Yeah, congratulations to Shane. He is going to be a grandpa. And they had the gender reveal, right?
Yeah, and he nailed it. He was team boy. And as of right now, all signs point towards he's going to have his little grandson buddy to hang out with. And so congrats to Shane on that. That was just kind of something that I saw come up in some of my content viewing this week.
He's going to love that. That's going to be a blast.
Which it was good to get, some good happiness. I had one of those resellery weeks. Now, I know every week I say that word.
You can't use reselling as an adjective and then have it mean something bad. Reselling's good.
Well, yeah.
I'm trying to think of a better adjective. I mean, shitty works, but
yeah, I had one of those shitty reseller weeks that we all get as resellers. But you get these situations that come up, but sometimes you get one of those weeks where it just all piles up on you. I got a negative feedback, which was just painful. I have USPS. I have some lost packages, which that's where that negative comes from. And I kind of talk about that a little bit, but I had to refund a buyer on an item that was my mistake or my error. And I did that as like a customer service sort of thing. My seller rating dropped below 100%. Again, thank you, USPS. It was just, I watched
like
your
running
content.
the hurdles and tripping on every one of them, huh?
It was one of those, just one of those weeks that I don't know, that you just, it was painful, but then nothing cures the ills more than cha-ching.
Talking to me?
Well,
wow.
Yeah. See,
yeah.
So I call Corey and I vent all my woes to him. And, oddly enough, I usually don't feel better after those conversations. One would think,
it was too short. Our conversation from the other day was only 4 miles. And when I got done, I was like, well, that wasn't enough.
It wasn't a workout. I needed Ken. Well, you called me like right at coffee time or whatever, when I go next door over to my folks. And
you're always at coffee time.
Well, it seems that way. That's usually like, 5 p.m. 5
It
p.m.
seems like
Eastern.
that's just when things wind down enough to where you would normally make a phone call.
Yeah.
In the day. So I think I just catch you at that time a lot.
And I'm just getting geared up at that point. But yeah, you would think, talking to a friend that's also a reseller, they would understand these woes. And, but you just keep working. You just keep listing.
Mm-hmm.
And then those cha-chings can cure all ills, which happened. I think yesterday, eBay said, you ever see that every now and then? It's like eBay says, okay, it's your turn. Today's your day. And the sales just like start to come in. And I was trying to do, okay. So yesterday was Saturday. We record this on a Sunday. And I had a couple of sales when I woke up, and I had a really good sale. And I thought, I'm going to try to get these packaged, because if I can make it to a post office with my shipments, even on a Saturday, I'm going to do that. And so I was running out of time. I said, okay, I'm going to get these a couple of items out, because one was a good sale. It was like a $90 sale. And it's like, I don't want the person to change their mind over the rest of the weekend and,
right.
Want to do cancel the order. Let's get this stuff out there and shipped. And so I'm out there. I gather the items. I'm trying to get them packaged up so I can get to the post office before they close. And then I sell another item. It's like, okay, that's a quick one. I can pack that one up real quick. And then I sell another item that was like a really super difficult packer. Yeah, it was a big
something you had to Frankenbox a little.
Yeah, a little bit of Frankenboxing, but tons of bubble wrap and paper and stuff. It was like a big porcelain clown. One of the clowns that I had listed on my 10 versus 10 a few weeks ago. But it took extra special care and kind of reinforcing the box and bubble wrapping and all that stuff. It's like, okay, I'm not going to make it to the post office. I'm not going to be able to get this boxed up.
We quit doing that, like the shipping right away thing. We quit doing that.
Yeah.
I think just like 3 months ago, I talked to you about it. We quit doing it because it was, we just had a rash of people ordering, and then we would try and rush to get it shipped that same day or the next morning. And we had a bunch of them just canceled like immediately after we shipped.
Okay.
So now we wait. We have 1 day shipping, but now we wait the full day and ship it the following day. We don't ever do it the same day anymore, just because it's so much easier if we cancel an order before it ships.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's I try. I still try. If I have not went to the post office yet, I will try to get a package out if it sold that morning. And I've been pretty fortunate over the time that, most of the people and the types of items that I sell, they're deliberately buying them. That's not off the cuff. I just saw this and then have that immediate buyer's remorse.
Accidental purchase.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
We get those a lot.
My kid got my phone and accidentally, went through and ordered this. It's not like you just click the button and something orders. Most of the time there's, 2 or 3 buttons to push and such.
My nephew's cat is ordering a new litter box. Yeah, we get all kinds of weird excuses.
Litter boxes.
Yeah, no.
But, thank you to the USPS for losing packages and not holding up their end of the deal. That's one of the things, that's the one piece in this business that once that item is shipped, even though you've done all of you held up your end of the bargain, you still get dinged by the customer. Will say, I have an item out there that's lost. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know it wasn't delivered because I hadn't, followed up. And I try to look at my orders that had shipped out and, a few times a week just to make sure that everything is getting delivered. But I didn't realize this. Customer reaches out to me and says, I haven't got my item yet. And I was immediately pretty much within 5 minutes of getting that. It's like, and it was kind of late at night, 10:30, quarter to 11. I'm okay. First thing in the morning, I will check into this, contact USPS, see what I can do, leave them rest assured that I will take care of you if the package is gone or lost or whatever. Just, don't worry about that. And so I get up the next morning and fire up my eBay and stuff to get that process going. And I have a negative feedback. And it's like the reason from that person, haven't received my item yet. And it's like, that's a ding against me and it's not a ding against the carrier. It's like I'm trying to do so. I tracked the package. I've seen where it was at, and tried to go in and do the missing mail thing.
Yep.
But you have to wait like 7 days or something after it was supposed to be delivered, so it wouldn't let me put that in. But I did file a thing with the USPS, and I recontacted the buyer and just let them know that.
We had kind of a philosophical debate about this on our 4 Mile conversation about the customer perspective of that. When you order something, we don't think of it as a buyer. We're not thinking of it as two separate things, like the person we purchased it from and then the post office. We're thinking we're buying one thing, and that includes delivery, and it all falls on the seller's shoulders.
Yeah.
And as a seller, we're seeing it as two separate things. You bought from me, and I'm going to do everything I can to make you happy, but I'm at the post office's mercy. So we're seeing a two-sided thing. They're seeing a one-sided thing. And I completely get their perspective, because when I paid to have it show up by next Wednesday and it shows up not next Wednesday, then I'm immediately blaming the vendor.
Yes.
My blame meter never goes directly to the post office. It goes to the vendor.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about that a little bit.
That negative feedback, which I figure I will address. I kind of addressed it with them in my second follow-up email that, hey, I noticed that you left a negative feedback on my account. I am doing the best that I can, and I explained to them that it wouldn't let me put in for the missing package is 7 days, blah, blah, blah. And so later that evening, it had passed that 7 days, and I did do a missing mail thing. And their comeback to me was that if they didn't get it soon, they were going to cancel it. And it's like, which is painful, because now you have a package that's out there in the universe someplace, and they're going to want to cancel it, which means it's still going to eventually get to them or come back to me. I don't know. It's just one of those, situations you're trying to do the best that you can do.
I think eBay takes care of the seller pretty good on that when you have tracking. I think eBay is going to make you whole on that. They're not going to count that against you. Like I said, eBay's been pretty good about taking care of us when it's something that happened on the post office side and it wasn't if it shows we dropped it off and it was scanned on time and then it just got lost. Like, eBay takes care of us pretty decent as sellers. I guess short of that, what other recourse do you have? Like, you can find some crazy-eyed dude that looks like Gary Busey just to bring it to their door. And here.
I wasn't delivering this, myself. And I don't know. It just one of those things, because, I've been pretty fortunate over my, whole reselling career here that most everything has got there on time. I've only had one other negative feedback, and I was able to get that, removed right away. And so I figure I'll address that negative with the customer again once we can get this resolved. Either if the post office just comes back and says it's lost, we don't know where it's at, and then, kind of go down that process, which I'm not even sure what to do at this point, because I've never had this situation come up. And so,
see, to me, that's a valid. I think I would talk to eBay and see if they would remove it if the customer won't. But at the same time, that's kind of a valid negative. I would reply to it and say, we shipped on time. The post office lost it. I apologize. We offer a full refund, and reply to it if they won't remove it. But to me, that's a valid negative that if I can't get it removed, I'm not going to sweat it too bad, because it is on me to get it to you. And it sucks the post office let you down. But
yes. And then they let me down on another one. Like I said, my seller rating is down under 100%, which, OCD kicks in. It's like, why? What's up with that? And there was a package for some reason, and this is where I'm not sure how the eBay system, over time, I don't know what it's to take, like 3 months or something for that they review things.
I think it's a 3-month cycle. Yep.
Because
I think they review your seller rating every month.
Every month,
but I think it takes either 3 or 6 months for something to drop off.
Yeah, which is here's what I don't understand. If they just look at the things, for some reason the package was not scanned initially. It didn't come up, I printed the label, I took it and, whatever, but it didn't show up as being scanned as accepted. However, when you go and do the tracking, it shows it was delivered. And so it's like, I'm not sure how that happens but there's no tracking history in eBay other than that I created the label.
Is this the same package?
No, this is a different package.
One. Okay. Did it show up on time?
Yeah. I got there just like a couple days after I shipped it, and so it was on time. But there's no
arrival scan.
There's no tracking there's no acceptance scan, and there's no delivery or arrival scan. But yet the tracking number shows as delivered. And I think when we first started, which wasn't that long ago, but when we first started, we heard horror stories about that. That was one of the things we were kind of warned about by watching videos, that make sure they're scanned when you take them to the post office. Yeah.
Or having somebody pick them up, like make sure they're getting scanned. So we have always just waited for a receipt. Yeah. We have whether we take them in and they scan individually, or we bring our scan sheet and do bulk, we wait for the receipt at the post office. And that was just something we did. We formed that habit in the beginning because we kind of got scared off of not doing it by watching people talk about those arrival scans not happening.
Yeah, when I have in my process, if I have like a big sales day or a big sales weekend, I am always taking those packages directly to the post office. They don't really work with the scan sheets. They don't want to work with them or whatever at my post office. Okay. And so we do, you go to the counter and they scan each individual one. I'm actually the one, I just keep throwing them up on the scale. They scan them, boom. I just, one after another. And, then I get that receipt. But if I'm having, if I have, 1, 2, 3 sales, something like that I take them around the corner to my local postal store, which is one of those places. They take UPS, they take USPS, whatever, but they don't scan them. They just go in a big bin that, driver shows up that day and picks them up. And I've never had an issue, but this would have been a package that I just dropped off. So I don't know how it goes through the whole system, shows as it's delivered, but has no other scan history from the time that I printed the label to when it was delivered. But it just drives me nuts. But I'm not 100%.
When we first started bringing packages to our post office here, because in our old business, we always did packages too. We always brought packages in. But when we first moved to this area, they wanted to scan all the boxes individually. They didn't want the scan sheet.
Yeah.
And with our old business and this one now too, once we got to the point where we were bringing 40 or 50 boxes into the post office, all of a sudden they want that scan sheet. They don't want to scan them individually anymore.
Exactly.
So that worked out to our advantage. Now we just bring the sheet in and bring our 3-4 big bags in, and we drop them off and they scan one and done. Give us a receipt.
Yeah. It's, so, I wish that the people that worked at my post office just took care of all the mailing there, because my post office, the folks there are they're the greatest. I don't know. Yeah.
We like ours too.
Super helpful, answer questions. They're always fun. They're always friendly. Even when you bring in, a great big old bag of stuff, they're on top of it. And, anyway.
We know who's getting married and who's having kids, and we get their whole life story when we go in there. Who's going to get to throw a pie into the face of the postmaster? They got a thing, when you get your receipt, it has that little barcode at the bottom, and they're always scan this and do, review. Yeah, that if they get 25 reviews or whatever, they get to throw a pie in the postmaster's face. And see, they're doing it, and it's all funny. If I just walk in with my packages and do it, then they yell at me and want to get me arrested.
Or if you just walk in with a pie and shove
it. That's what I'm talking about.
So, and then the other stuff, here I'm just kind of oh, woe is me. What have you been going on with your week so far?
We've been swamped trying to get things buttoned up for the Plains to Profit event in Omaha. So we've been really trying to button up all the loose ends and make sure everything is ready, and we're getting right down to the wire on that. So I think we got everything pretty much buttoned up now.
A couple weeks and tickets are scarce. From what I've seen or what I've heard.
We're down to about a dozen tickets left, I think, I think we have 12 tickets left that are available right now. So we've got about 18 days to go. Yeah. So if anybody wants to slide in last minute, hop in. But
Yeah,
grab
do
a
that.
ticket. Now's the time.
Corey, we'll put a link down below that you can. It just sounds like a good, cool, great event. Go check out the planetoprofit.com and
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Get your ticket, show up. A lot of cool folks are going to be there with different perspectives on the reselling business, the way that they resell, and the avenues that they go down for sourcing and the avenues that they go down for selling those items.
We've already learned a few things just from talking to a few people that are showing up to the event, just through the purchasing, and we're kind of adding everybody to a Facebook group as we go and things like that. We've already learned a few things that changed the way we do reselling a little bit, and we ain't even at the event yet. So I'm looking forward to it. Like it's gonna be a pretty good event. Not a great profitable event. I think we're still gonna lose money on the whole event, but we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it.
I thought maybe that's what you
FOMO sign.
Yeah, if you're listening on the audio side on Spotify or iTunes or all those places that you get. I seen Google Podcasts is going away. I got an email about that the other day, so I have to see how I did it. But I got my FOMO sign up because unfortunately I will not be able to attend. Even last night, Jill and I were still talking, and she's like, "If you want to go," she's like, "I won't be able to go because I didn't schedule." If you and it's like, but. For me right now, financially, it's not the best decision, but man, it sounds like a cool event. And
I'm not going to call you the names that I would call you if we were on the phone, because this is a public broadcast here.
I appreciate that.
I'm going to let them slide, but just know, if I had a disappointment sign, I'd be holding it up.
Yeah, I know. So that's been most of your week, buttoning up Planes to Profit stuff and making arrangements and getting stuff.
Yep. Thankfully, that's coming to an end now. I don't think we have to do anything now. There's like 2 more things that I have to just button up quick, and then it's just waiting to show up. So we're right there.
That's cool. That's cool. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to all of the anytime there's a meetup, people put out content, and people are doing lives from events and things like that. So man, you should put out a list of all the people that are going to be there so that everybody can follow their channels. Here, I'm just giving you more work.
I'm sure we'll be doing lives. I think our youngest is actually going to tag along with us when we go up there, and she's just going to record for us.
Yeah.
So that we can enjoy the event. We don't have to worry about wearing GoPros all the time. She's going to record for us. And I know some of the content creators that are coming down are going to be recording too. We've got a few pretty good size YouTube channels coming down to speak, and we've got a few platform people coming down and sponsors coming down to speak as well. So I'm sure there's going to be some content coming out of it. We'll have a few lives going on eventually.
People that are bigger than my channel, Corey, like
people that are bigger than my channel, even
got people that have more than 425 subscribers that are going to be doing content from there.
We will be one of the smaller channels there, of the people that have channels. And there's a lot of people without channels, which is almost more exciting to me, because just talking to some of those people, there's a lot of resellers doing things different, and they don't have YouTube, so you don't hear about it every day. So it'd be interesting to talk to some of those folks.
When you kind of run around in this, YouTube community, it kind of seems like that's where the focus is. But the number of folks that resell that do not have YouTube channels or don't do content creation is huge. And so, that's cool. And
it's good to get out of that little bubble once in a while, learn some new things.
For sure. And that's what I've been trying to do too with my content watching, is try to follow some new folks, try to pick. It's hard though to get to learn somebody new, because you become, I guess, friends with the folks in the community or the circle that you run in, and it makes it hard to learn somebody new, learn somebody's new personality or something about them, because that's what I'm all about. I do reselling every day. I like that personal aspect, to get to know somebody and to get. I'm
not very likable, so I don't have the friend issue.
See, now
slightly off-putting is the way we go through life here.
we should just get a couch here, a couch, Corey, and you lay down and say, tell me about your mother, and we'll just do.
Oh, you wouldn't like her either.
What?
No, we've been watching content outside
Corey's
of
mother is a bit off-putting as well.
Sorry, Mom. No, we've been watching content outside of reselling lately. We've been watching more marketing and e-commerce type content lately
Yeah.
to see how we can pull some of those ideas and things into this business, because the one thing about eBay is if you're doing eBay and just eBay and you're not branching out to some of the other platforms,
Yeah.
a lot of the ideas and the way things are done on eBay are pretty dated. They're pretty far behind the rest of the online selling world. So it's nice to get outside of the eBay niches and the eBay sellers and watch some content from other types of sellers, because there's a lot of ideas that are older ideas that just have never made it to eBay yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, so does that mean you're going to start cross-posting, Corey, to other platforms?
But someday we will. That's not in our near future necessarily, just because we're not good enough at eBay to be looking elsewhere yet. Like that's all on us.
That's a good topic, like for maybe in the future. That was interesting the way that you put that eBay is a little behind in some of the ways that they're doing stuff, the way that they're
sometimes they're a lot of behind.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the demographic on eBay for sellers is fairly old too. I don't think it's a young demographic. So you're not getting those new ideas.
On eBay or that are buying on eBay?
Selling. Well, both.
Okay. Yeah.
Both, I think. So a lot of those new ideas, like the people on Shopify and Etsy and things, like you're getting a lot of younger demographic and you're getting new ideas all the time. And
yeah.
Sometimes when you're stuck with one demographic and it's an older demographic, things tend to stagnate a little bit. They like to keep things as they are. And go to any small town around you that's 300, 400, 500 people in a town, and that town just stays the same forever because it's an old population and they don't want to change it. eBay's the same way sometimes.
Curmudgeon-y. They get curmudgeon-y. Yep. I think, didn't you come up with that word last week? Did you get your shirts made? Did you get your shirts made?
I looked at it. I didn't, but I did. I do think I looked the word up after that show, and I think we're saying it wrong. I think it's curmudgeonly. Curmudgeon-y? I don't know. I'll have to look it up again. We're definitely pronouncing it wrong, but we're using it right.
Okay. People understand. That's what as long as people understand. Like when I say resellery, people understand what I mean.
They get it. Yep.
So that's an interesting topic. I'd like to go down that road at some point. Talk about some of those new ideas that people are having, or look and see. Again, I've been selling on eBay. I only sell on eBay. I don't sell on any other platforms, not for any reason other than, I'm still trying to use all the tools and stuff that eBay, that gets this one down. I think I have a pretty good handle on it, but, as we were talking through stuff and things that we might want to, talk about. One of the things, kind of a follow-up of a conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago, where we were a little bit on different pages there about making a buyer your customer, and things that you might do. And then we started talking about that packaging when you send out your package.
We might have approached that whole conversation incorrectly. I don't think it was received very well. And I think it's partly our fault because we didn't approach it. We didn't get across what we were trying to say, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure we will this time either, because we're just not that good at communicating. But we're going to try again.
Well, one of the things we were talking about, and you see out in the community a lot, is what you're doing with that package when you're sending it out. Are you doing like thank yous? Are you doing stickers in there? Are you what is that? Wow! When we were talking, and I don't mean to steal your part of the conversation, but that wow factor when somebody gets their package, that is
any part of the transaction, any part of the experience. If you could put something in it that makes you stand out, I think, and it doesn't have to be the package, but that's just one example. And I think a lot of what we talked about was maybe it's not what you should put in the package or what that note should say or anything like that. Maybe the first question is, why are you putting something in the package? Because we talked a little bit about our response to it, and we did hear a little bit of the response, not just on ours, but in other chats, that It's not something that has any value. It's not something that does anything. And when we were talking, I think what we kind of came up with is it maybe it's not doing anything because we're not sure why we're doing it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And I
don't
think
have a goal.
That more specifically is putting a thank you card or a sticker or something in a box, and you hear that conversation of, I don't do that. It's just a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It doesn't do anything for your sales. And I can, I can get along without it. Oh, I've tried to, you see the comments. I've tried that before and it didn't do me any good. And
I think the response to that is, what did you want it to do? What were you trying to accomplish?
As we talked about this, as you and I talked about this, that's really where we got the kind of the conversation to go is what was the reason? And I am in both sides of this camp. Okay. When I first started,
I think, somewhat.
When I first started doing eBay and watching all the reseller videos and content, I came across a lot of stuff where, like, when you send out that package, you need to put a thank you card in there, something that says, thank you to the buyer for purchasing or whatever, and that will help increase your sales or help blah blah blah. And part of this conversation had went to how do you get repeat buyers? How do you get somebody? How do you? It kind of stems back to that buyer becoming your customer sort of a thing.
Yep.
And when I first started, I would put the thank you cards in all of my packages, and I was just, printing them out here and cutting them out. And I really wasn't seeing where it was being beneficial. And because I didn't have any direction other than just putting a thank, it would say thank you. And it would say, stuff like, I strive to do, give you the best customer service, 5-star, that sort of stuff, with number one, either no call to action from the buyer. And I didn't see results. And so I was one of those where I was like, oh, I tried that and it was a waste of time and I didn't do and it didn't do anything for me. And I've changed my process here. I just recently picked it back up, and because
we're changing ours. We're actively changing ours because we are not. I don't think we have a great focus yet on what we want that to accomplish for us. Yes. I think we're still developing that even, and we have a pretty good card and a sticker and all that, but still our focus for what are we trying to accomplish by putting it in there? I think it's still a little bit wishy-washy. So I think we're getting results from our cards, and I think we have ways to see that are pretty evident. Yeah. But I think we're getting them partially by accident because we put them in because we heard it was good practice, and we're not very focused with what we're trying to accomplish yet.
Yes.
So we're working on that too.
There's not there's, I guess, just the general thing of just being a good person, thanking somebody. It can be as simple as just that thank you card. At the beginning I was doing the thank you cards. I might throw a few candies in there. I might throw, these other little things in the box with it. And there was no way for me to measure that. It wasn't, maybe it was doing good. Maybe it was just the person opened the box and there was something other than just the product in there. Because I look at, say, for example, Jill. She buys a lot of stuff off of eBay. She buys a lot of stuff off of Whatnot. And she's constantly showing me the packaging that she gets from people. And there's a number of sellers out there that, they just, whatever box was right there, they just threw the item in it, boom, and there it comes. No protection on things, no bubble wrap, no extra paper on things that might be, fragile or breakable. Or, the box is just not the right size. And then other items that she gets are very well packaged, very well packaged. She'll buy clothing that's just not piled in a box. It's perfectly folded and, and in there. And then she always notes to me, oh, look, I got this thank you card, or this person threw in, this little cheap pair of earrings or something like that. Just something that when she opened that box made her take notice of.
Which is good. That's seller. Good marketing. I mean, that that little thank you note that you put in the box or whatever you put in there, if you decide to do that,
Yeah.
to me is just an icebreaker. It gets your attention. It's, hey, you, and then your customer saying, yeah, what? And what are you going to tell them after you have their attention? And it sounds like some of those are doing pretty good at getting her attention. She's saying, ooh, this is different, and picking it up. She noticed it. Now the question is, what are they going to tell her? Are they going to take advantage of having that customer's attention? Yeah. And I think that's the part that we didn't address well. I think that's the part that varies. Like, I think we talked about it a little bit. It varies so differently store to store. What I might want to do with that customer's attention might be completely different than what you want to do, but probably will be completely different.
Yes. And, some of that focus, as we started to talk about some of those things that, you have, because of what your card says, you've gained viewers to your YouTube channel. Or to your different social medias, because you might have put on that card, or your current card says, what does your current card say?
Here's the card we
has
put
a sample. Perfect. Okay.
So it's a thank you card, and it just has our branding on it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And then this side here is our big note, which a lot of people are not going to read. But it's basically just saying thank you for your purchase. Remember to leave us a review. And then it specifically asks them to bookmark our store. Yeah. If they can come back and bookmark our eBay store. And if you have any questions, contact us directly on our eBay store. And then it has our little QR code. But then we also have the sticker in there with a QR code on it. Okay. And both of those QR codes go to our Grams and Pops link tree, with all of our links to our website, our eBay store, our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube, so that they can follow us on all of our social media channels. We're trying to kind of brand a little bit. But even that, we may be a little bit too shotgun approach. It may be too scattered. We may need to tighten that focus and try to ask more for one thing. We might be, simply put, we might be asking for too much in that. Yeah, true. And, I was going to say, I was thinking when you were talking there, because generally I'm not paying attention to what you're saying. I'm just thinking about what I want to say next, is I'm not always sure. Sandwich. And I'm not always sure in those packages, say that Jill gets, that might have a thank you or a sticker or some little gift. If it's an eBay purchase, I'm not really sure that that's making her go back or even realize that that came from a person. It's still that it's an eBay purchase. Oh, I bought this from eBay, and this person sent this thank you, and that was cool. Yeah. But is she going to seek out? There's no doubt when you get that it came from a person. Yes. So that I think. Yep, you're right. And so that's, where my focus had been once we started to talk about that customer, that buyer becoming your customer, is what is something that I can do different in my packages, not necessarily different from anybody else, what they're doing, but what change can I make in my business to try to get customers, try to get a repeat customer, try to make them say, oh, hey, I liked this item. I like the way that it was packaged. I like the box. I like whatever it was. Maybe they sell other stuff that's like this, or I had such a good customer service experience with the whole thing. Maybe I want to buy other things. I bought this vintage electronic from them, but hey, let's go check out their store and see, do they have, I'm looking for a vintage sports jersey, or I'm looking for, I think that was a good train of thought that we went down in our phone conversation too, a little bit, is a lot of the, what do you even say here? A lot of the disagreement or the objection to this type of thing has always historically on eBay, at least, and through YouTube that I'm seeing, has been, I'm an everything seller. I'm not niche down. Yeah. It makes no difference if they come back to my store, they bought a filter for a refrigerator. They're never coming back to buy anything else. Yeah. And I think we made the comparison that if that was the mindset of every thrift store in America, they'd all be closed. Because people don't come to buy. People don't go to a thrift store to buy the same things because it's a niche store. They're going to shop. And if you can make a fan out of these people and have them come back and shop like they do in thrift stores or secondhand stores, then there's a lot of opportunity using that type of business model.
Yeah. Or, I mean, even Walmart for, they're an everything seller, and and I can see that argument, people coming back, and then, it's a waste of time or a waste of time or a waste of money. I guess it depends on how you're looking at that. Okay. So like you have your thank you card and your sticker that you put in there. One of the changes that I made in my business, here recently is every package that I send out, I print out the packing list for it. Mm-hmm. Not only does that go in the box, but it's my part of my system to make sure that I get the right package to the right person. When I'm pulling inventory off of the shelves, I have my packing list, and I use that to organize things. And I'm not sending out a thank you card, but each of those packing lists, I write a handwritten thank you on there. There's a place on there that's a message. You can put your own personalized message on that thing. And it's just thanks. And I thank them for their purchase and ask, that positive feedback is greatly appreciated, if they're happy with their item. And so each of those I'll cover up the address. So like here's a current one that I have, the packing list, and I got the thank you on there. This person just so happened to buy like three items from me, which was cool. But the change that I made on anything is right up here in the corner, because these have the QR code on them that goes directly to my eBay store. And I'll kind of show the sticker a little separate. Let me get this up here. So I'm printing these off of my Rolo. I don't know if that's focusing. Scan the code, save the seller, and I put that little heart and save the seller that is looks just like it does on the page, for more great deals and newly listed items.
And that's a very basic, very simple message. It's unconfusing. You're not throwing a lot at them, and you're asking them something very, very clearly. Come back, scan the code, and save me as a seller. And I like that. It's probably better focused than mine. Not probably. It definitely is better focused than mine.
And that QR code, I didn't generate that. That's generated on this packing list. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that go, oh, you print out a packing list for everyone. That's a waste of time. I agree with another that. Argument. That's another argument that you get. What people go, I sell just as much as you do, and I sell the same things. I'm an everything seller, and I just throw it in a box and I send it out with nothing, and I make just as many sales. And that's great. If that's what works, this is in no way telling somebody to do one way or another, or that I'm right, they're wrong. It's
the solution on this is as unique as your store. I mean, there's a million solutions here. If I was going to redo this today, and we were out of these cards and we were going to start a new method or do something different, I think I would probably go with something more like a coupon code. Yeah. Kind of a, here's 10% off your next purchase. If you're not going to use it, give it to a friend type thing. Yeah. So that I could track when people use that coupon code and see how effective that strategy is. Yeah. I think I would go more focused towards that. But I do think there's an unlimited amount of things you can ask. And I really don't. Yes. It's limited by your imagination. So, we could have a QR code that goes directly to a landing page on our actual website. So we could track traffic that comes to that. And from there, we could do drawings and giveaways. We can get their email address. There's so much you could do. Yeah. But just, my thought, my focus, and my plan was just to do something that didn't, a small change. I made a change in my store, or not in my store at all, but what I was giving to the customer when they got their package. They have this packing list. I always write that personal thank you on there. And if so, the only thing that changed was that sticker, right? Was that sticker. That is the only change that I made. And it's like, then how do I track that? Or how can I say, is that doing any good for me? Well, the way that I'm looking at it now, I wrote down, I have like a note right up here, how many followers I had in my eBay store. Now, followers, there might be that thing, it doesn't matter if people are following your store. Well, if they have those notifications and stuff turned on, when you list new items, they're going to see those items come up. Yeah, it matters if you're sending them marketing. Well, yeah, exactly. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's a whole, but mine is totally within the eBay thing. I'm not even doing any outside marketing. I put that sticker on there, and that QR code that's generated just goes directly to my store, shows that they can click that heart that says to save the seller. And what can I track with that? Or what can I say? Is it doing any good? Is the one small change? Now, is it a waste of time and waste of money? I bought this roll of labels, these yellow labels that go in my Rollo printer that I use every day. Now I just so happen to have two Rollo printers, and so right now I have one loaded up with these stickers, and I have the other one is out in my office that I do my labels. So I'm not switching back and forth, or you could switch it once and do a bunch of labels. Well, the 1,000 labels on the roll was like $9 and something. So
you got like less than a penny.
Less than a penny in a sticker. It took me, a couple minutes to design the thing, and I push print, and I print out a whole string of them, and I just have them here for when I'm doing. So the effort, so a penny, and I'm sticking that on that sheet. Whether you did that on your sheet, because a lot of people would go, that's a waste of time. It's a waste of ink. It's a waste of paper, and that's a cost to you to send that out. It could be
the same thing on a card. It could, but
it could be wherever. But
so your process changed, the entirety of what you used to do compared to what you do now. It's changed by the fact that you have a sticker that you put on the sheet that you are already printing. You've got an extra penny maybe per box in it.
And 5 seconds to stick the sticker on there? 10 seconds if I'm lazy and just going real slow and trying to, now there, my OCD and my centering issues and stuff, the sticker has to be like exactly square on there. And I'm not just going to haphazardly stick it on. If I want to tell on myself, now here's where it wouldn't be worth it. I have printed out new sheets before, like a new sheet for an item, because I stuck the sticker on a little bit crooked, but that's just me. That's my own fault. Okay, where am I tracking this, or where can I say, did this help? I started this process on January 15th. I have this note here. So being today is February the 4th, we're 18 days into it? About a month.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no. We're like
January. You said January 15th?
January 15th.
And it's the 4th. So you're about 2 weeks in.
That I put the stickers in. In that time, I have gained, I just checked this morning before, I have gained 5 new followers in my eBay store, and I have had 1 repeat customer, which for me, that is the goal. That is the goal, to get repeat customers. That's my focus for making the stickers, is to get somebody that purchased something from me to come back and purchase again.
And that's very small. I mean, that's a very small data set. So we don't know for sure that came from that. And I think a lot of people are going to go, well, that doesn't seem like much, but that is out of the ordinary for your store, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because my number of followers had stayed the same for ever. Every now and then I'd get a new one or whatever. Yep. Now, all I can say is the only thing that I can say is I made one change. I did one thing that was different. I put a sticker on there, and you figure if I started the 15th, those packages had to get shipped out. They had to deliver, a couple days, 3 days in that. So you're going to take that off the time. So probably in less than 2 weeks, I have gained 5 followers in my store, and I have 1 repeat customer. Can you 100% say it is because of that? Well, no, but if I get no followers for months and months and months, and I get 5 after I put a sticker on, and I get a repeat customer, to me, it's worth it. It's worth it to stick that sticker on there. And after a while, I might change focus. Like you said, you've got some viewers to your YouTube channel.
We've had several that have
some different
actually commented in their. They've actually left comments in their review that they've subbed to our channel. So, and we see comments on our channel that they purchased from our store and found our channel from our sticker. So, and we do. And we've got about 669, I think, right now, store followers. Yeah. And we run generally between 4.5% and 5% return buyers for our sales every
Okay.
month. About 5% of them are return buyers, which is a pretty decent number of buyers.
That's it's an opportunity, and that's my focus is to get. It's the reason that I'm doing it is to try to get those repeat buyers. Okay, is it a waste of time or money? Well, what I can tell you is the repeat buyer that I had and the item that they bought has overwhelmingly paid for this roll, this $9 roll of stickers that I bought, or a penny that I paid for that one, and actually it would pay for 2 or 3 more rolls of stickers, in the future. So it only takes that one repeat sale or that repeat buyer to make it worth it. And it's just the focus
cost
that
of
I'm doing.
I think, the cost of what we're putting in there, we buy these in such bulk now that there's pennies in these. I mean, they don't cost us much. We have less than a quarter between both of these combined.
Yeah.
Because we're buying between 1,000 and 5,000 at a time.
And if you look at it as that individual package where you put a quarter's worth of material, which took you boxing this up, pitching a card, pitching a sticker, boom.
Yep.
Put the box up. That customer opens that box. Number one, hopefully, Cory, you're packaging your stuff well, and it's a nice presentation when they get in there.
Yeah, we overpack.
And then they also find your sticker and stuff, and they might look at it. It might be like, political mail that comes in. You stand over the trash can with your mail, and it's like, I'm going to dump this, and they might not pay one bit of attention. But to you, I assume that either whether it's that repeat customer or whether it's somebody comes to your YouTube channel and starts to subscribe and be a follower and watch your videos, and you might get some revenue from that. I'm sure that you're saying that quarter that you send out now, when you send out, 50 packages on a Monday or something like that, you times a quarter, that's what? Yeah, $12, 13, 12.5, 13 bucks.
We can send out if it costs us a quarter in that, which I think it's actually under that, but if it costs us a quarter, we can send out 144 packages with these in order to get one sale if they're at our average sale price. Our average sale price right now is around $36.
Yeah.
So that's 144 of these we can send out before we get one sale. And I know we're getting that one sale. Right now I know for sure we're getting that one sale.
It's just a process. It's something different, doing something different with your process, with your business. And that might not be, some people might go, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to buy and
some
send
people
and
might
put
not
a card
have
in
the goal of getting a sale.
Yeah.
Maybe they're putting their card in for a completely different reason. Maybe the sale's not it. It depends on their store completely. Whether that's to get to follow the social media, whether that's to, but just when I was discussing this with Jill, one of her things was, why can't it just be to say thank you? Why just to be a good person, just to be, just to be appreciative of somebody? I'm like, yeah, exactly. That was, but that's well, put it this way. There's nothing wrong with saying thank you, but in real life, if you're dealing with someone in person, why do you say thank you? Like, why do you say thank you? Yeah.
To be courteous, to be a good person, to show appreciation for whatever that they've done.
Because you're trying to build a relationship. You want that person to like you.
Yes.
I mean, if you didn't care if they liked you and they did something for you, you just be about time, jerk, instead of thank you. So you say thank you because you want them to like you. And if people like you, you can build relationships, and relationships are mutually beneficial. So it's not a greedy thing to want to build a good relationship with a customer. It's the right thing to do. And it takes a very dispassionate e-commerce transaction and puts a little bit of human back in it. There's nothing wrong with saying thank you, but it is the beginning step of forming a relationship. And there's nothing wrong with asking something from a relationship. Nothing.
This is true. And so, getting that focus of that whole question of why am I putting something? Why am I doing anything? Whether it's just a sticker on the outside of the box. I guess I should say another change that I made is I also printed some of these that say thank you on them, and I'm sticking them on the outside of the box. Yep. Okay. And so they're seeing a little bit of a thank you right when they get the box. But maybe
you don't feel comfortable. Different. I have talked to a few people that don't feel comfortable asking for a sale. They don't
Yeah.
feel comfortable asking someone to buy again if they've already bought. And they feel like
Yeah.
that's a little one, that's something I think you need to get over. You're in business to sell things. You got to get over you have to be able to ask. But two, maybe don't ask for that. Maybe ask for something that can benefit your business in a different way. Maybe that's just, can you send me a photo of you with this product that you just bought? And I can use it on my social media then to promote other products in that same category. Here's a picture of a happy customer. Like, there's a lot of things you can ask. But I think if you're going to do the marketing, if you're going to put something in the box, have a reason. And until you figure out what you want to ask, then I agree with the naysayers that are saying it's a waste of time and money, because it is. If you don't know what you're going to ask, or you're not asking anything, then it is kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, agreed. And my initial, when I first started doing it, when I started, was I was trying to get positive feedback. As a news store, I wanted to get positive feedback, but that thank you card that I was doing was not focused towards that, because I get people that say, "Oh, don't beg somebody for positive feedback, or ask for a feedback," because when you're asking for feedback, that can go both ways. That can be positive or negative. It's like there are sometimes that you send out items that it's a good item, it's a good quality item, it's whatever. There's no problems with the transaction. But sometimes it's like no news is good news. You'd rather not, sometimes you don't get a positive at all. If you don't hear anything, a positive or not hearing anything can be, I think, are somewhat equal than getting that negative or neutral.
One benefit of being married for 25 plus years is I always want the feedback, positive or negative. We can't grow, and we can't make things better, and we can't do anything to advance where we are right now if we're not giving feedback, positive or negative.
Yes.
Sometimes negative feedback is way more useful than positive. That positive review makes me feel good for a minute, sure, but the negative review might change the way I do business. So I will always ask for feedback, no matter what, because I want it, especially if you have something negative. And if it's unwarranted, I'll get it removed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Some people are just not happy with anything. I thought here for a minute when you went down that marriage, I thought we were going to, welcome to Relationship Chat with Ken and Cory, episode 1. That we were going to start up a new channel there, but that's just some stuff that we were talking about, and it just, I think we could have this conversation
for days. There's so many routes to go down. I think we could do a whole show just on. Okay, now we know you have to have a reason. There should be a purpose behind this. We could have a whole show of just figuring out what our reason is and what's the best way to accomplish that reason. Like, there's so much to this.
And I guess one of the things that we talked about is I don't understand sometimes everybody needs to do what's good for their business and what works for them. But that if you just question why I would do it, or the people that will just say, well, I'm not going to do that because there's no benefit to it. I can sell just as much stuff and spend less time packaging it, not having to put this or spend the money. And it's like, why would you not try something? Try to do something, and even if it was just for a little bit, and get some sort of a feedback. If you're making a call to action in whatever you're doing in there, whether it's a coupon, did somebody actually use that coupon when it went out? If it's number one, just to say thank you. If it's whatever the thing is, get YouTube viewers.
I think it's very much like what we talked about. What we talked about with Planes to Profit, and what we talked about with watching YouTube channels that are outside of the niche in marketing and stuff like that. I think it's very important in this and in any business to get outside of that bubble. Get outside of your normal and start asking why and seeing different ways to do things. I think that stuff is invaluable. Yeah. And you're right. Some people just get a little bit stagnant and they sit and things are done this way and they want things to stay that way and they stop looking for the new things. I think it's super important to get out of your comfort zone.
Yes. And if it doesn't work for you, or, I would be interested in the comments. Of course, we had some comments before when we kind of touched on this, of people weighing in on that, they've done it before, they're not going to do it or whatever. I would like to see, what folks are doing and what steps. But now that I have more of a focused what I want to ask for, and in this instance with the little barcode on there, it makes it easy because I'm not asking too much.
No, it's a very small ask.
It's they scan this and they go right to my store, and if they save me as a seller, that's it.
And you'll know if you ask too much.
A general, yeah.
I mean, the feedback will tell you if you ask too much. If you ask too much, they won't do it.
Yeah, and
it's simple to find out.
as a buyer myself or as a consumer, I don't want to go through a bunch of stuff. I'm not usually going to leave. Like I said, my original reason for doing it was to get positive feedback and asking for the positive feedback. Well, I wasn't even asking. I was just, because I didn't want to beg somebody for positive feedback or get some sort of feedback. I wanted to say thank you. And then maybe when they got that card, they would go, oh, that was nice. Let's go back and give this thing a personal feedback or positive feedback. But that's also something that eBay is going to ask them for. We all get that as buyers and sellers.
Times.
Yeah, they're going to come back after 30 days or 50 days. They're going to
keep
go,
asking
hey,
until you do it.
Send a review. Oh, which is another thing that I think that eBay needs to work on. In that, let's just delve into that for 2 seconds. When a buyer buys something from me and then cancels the order or has some sort of an issue or whatever, you still get that notification back from eBay that says, hey, put out reviews. You can build, better customer relations if you put reviews. Well, okay, so I go to these pages where all the reviews are, and there are all of these items that either people have canceled or there was some sort of a thing. And it's like, well, okay, eBay, give me an opportunity to really tell the true story. My option is the big positive button. Boink, that's it. I don't have an option as a seller to either, not that I would give somebody a negative or a neutral or something like that. Well, no. Yeah, they were. But I understand somebody buys something from me and in a timely manner, they cancel it, whether it's that whole excuse of, oh, my kid got a hold of my phone and they navigated all the way to eBay, found your page, selected a product, clicked on buy, picked a payment process, and clicked it again. It was accidentally bought by my kid. It's like, okay, or some people change their mind, or some people, when they cancel an order, they'll give you a reason that they canceled the order.
If the transaction didn't go through, I don't think you should be able to leave review or get reviews. Yeah. I think if you didn't complete the transaction for whatever reason, it shouldn't be. I think that is something eBay needs to change. It'd be nice to see that buttoned up, because it does leave a lot of room for just dumb stuff to happen. You get the emails, though, you get those notifications and stuff like that. Hey, review these products, and it keeps going over and over. My review is, it would have been nice had the person actually bought the item. That's my review. They canceled it, or there wasn't, there's no, I'm not going to leave somebody a positive review. I would be like, best customer I never had. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, there's a lot of avenues. I'd like to see in the comments. I got 4 pluses the other day. I was an A++++ A something seller. Yeah, those were asterisks. You were being cursed. You gonna make me try? That's no. I'd like to see in the comments some ideas. Now, if this changed your way of thinking about it a little bit, great. If it didn't, great. But if you are thinking about it based on the conversation we had here today, what are some of the reasons why what are some of the things you might want your customer to do? Yeah. And how can you accomplish it? Like, give us some ideas of what you think you might do in your boxes, and why are you doing it? What are you trying to accomplish? Because I think it's endless out there. And I'm sure there's some super creative people thinking of way better things than we are. And, that sharing of those ideas, that's what's positive in the community is, hey, I was thinking of doing this. Or, if we did make you think a little bit more about it, what is that focus? Rather than the general argument or that you see out there is, I do this because
that's what I do. I do this because I watched other YouTubers that said you should do this with no focus on why you're doing it, which was where I started with it. And then I abandoned for a while. I was in that camp of, it doesn't do any good. It's a waste of time. And just recently, well, like I said, the 15th, but it's also then the other side of the argument, just, waste of time, not going to do it. These people that say you need to do this, I make just as many sales and I'm happy with what I do. It's like, well, that's great if that's what works for you. But that question of why not try something? And if you are deciding that if the answer of why wouldn't I try it and you go, yeah, I should, then what? What am I going to put? What's the focus? What do I want to ask this person for and not be afraid to ask for it?
And that's a good point too. That refinement like I'm a complete geek for business growth. Like that's what gets me excited is the business growth. So it's
not only just the business growth, just a complete geek all the way.
Just a complete geek. Yeah, I'm big on just do something and then figure out how to refine that process and make it better. Or do you need to get rid of the process? Like if you sent me a coupon in the box that said, here's 15% off your next purchase, I might consider looking through your store to see if there's something I want. If you sent me the same card that said, buy 10 things from my store, get one free, I'd probably throw it away and be like, I'm not going to buy 10 things and get one thing.
Yeah.
Like there is a level that you can ask and a level you can't. There's things that work and things that don't. And the conversation to refine that and what other people are doing, I think is a great conversation to have. I'd love to hear other people's input on it.
Yeah, it's something you and I, talk quite extensively, 4 to 5 miles worth of conversation the other day.
What we're saying is we're trying to bring smarter people than us into our conversation. We need your help.
Yeah, we want your ideas and what you're doing and what you do. And if you are doing something, are you seeing those results? Are you seeing a result? Are you just doing it because that's what you do every day? Do you have an idea of
how to measure it?
And,
have you thought about how to measure it?
And just like Cory said the other day, all the cards that he didn't say it the other day, he just said it a little bit ago. The cards that he sends out now, maybe they're asking too much or not the right questions, or, that's kind of given you in our conversation, Cory, that's kind of given you, it's like, maybe I need to rethink once we use up these cards that you have currently, what is a focus? Do I want to center that down more to something that I can track rather than asking for everything? Like say you have your whole link tree on there as your QR code, which is great because that gives everybody all of your information. But then is that extra steps for the customer? They click on the link tree. Oh, it's now, do I want to go to the eBay? Do I want to go to this? Yep. It gives them all of that.
And I would say with this, it's working, and I can see evidence that it's working.
Yeah.
But I can also see evidence that it could work a whole lot better. Like we could definitely focus this better. Like not even just a little better, a lot better. So we will be making changes as soon as we get low on these and we get ready to order our next set. Yeah. We will be refocusing that. But it doesn't take long to burn through those. So it won't be long before we're starting to look at what we're going to do next.
All right. I think that's enough of that conversation.
Did we get this conversation finally taken care of?
Well, not finally, because it opens up more questions than not, and I'm looking forward to see if people comment on it. Again, not the most rip roaring exciting show, but hopefully people found some benefit and at least maybe started talking, or maybe the conversation is you guys are nuts and you shouldn't. It's if you don't find growing it's a waste of time.
Yeah, if you don't find growing your business exciting, you might not be my kind of people. Like that's my exciting.
Yes, I've had those conversations with Cory, and every time everything is started, it's like, oh, I never thought of that, or I never thought of it that way. And but little steps, little changes, little differences, little something might work, might not work, might whatever. But if you don't try something, you never know.
Nothing ever changes.
So
and you become eBay.
That's true. There you go. Some changes need to be made there as well. So, Cory, any final thoughts? Hopefully folks stuck around we're about twice as long as a normal episode.
This is a long episode. We apologize. Well, it's a sorry, not sorry
we don't
situation.
Apologize. I want to see people at least start to think about it. And if the thought is you guys are, no, we're not going to do that. That's great. At least, maybe you thought a little bit about your business. Too. And I want to know what people think about that. So, Cory, any closing words?
I think we're all set. Thanks for sticking around. If you're still here, thanks for sticking around.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys next time.
If you're still here at this whole time, Cory's giving away a $500 eBay. No, just put down in the comments, #thank you card or something like that. No, that's not true. All right, I'm out of here. No, I'm just rambling.